Yeah, and all of this takes us to our next topic, which Elvis touched on, which is it easier to go? It's kind of multifaceted, but is it easier to go from this long course understanding where even though Elvis is a sprinter, he was taught this long stroke to then learn how to be in a short course, it's time to get up and go sprinting situation, or vice versa, where you go from being a sprinter and that being the correct way to be socialized in the sport as far as being efficient, having good technique, and then moving up to distance. So which one is you had some interesting thoughts on this, Elvis. Which one do you think is the proper way to build your foundational steps in swimming?
Yeah, and this one came from either a comment or a DM that we got that was in response to Coach Jake's video that was sent to us. So somebody watched Coach Jake's video, sent it to the Night Swim podcast, and gave us
the voice of the people. That's why.
The voice of the people, and they want our opinion on it. So I said, you know what? We argued back and forth for a little bit, but I said, you know what? We're going to put it on the docket. But what this person was saying is that it's in order to have a good sprint technique, you have to learn distance swimming first. And now that I've thought about it a little bit, I kind of see what they were trying to say.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Y'all were talking past each other.
Yeah, I think he was trying to say kind of what I already said, that long course swimming can give you a good foundation to the short course swimming.
Yeah.
But the way he was wording it was you have to swim long yards, garbage yardage to get your distance and aerobic base, and then you can learn sprinting. And I said, well, I know a lot of distance swimmers who have shitty technique because all they do is grind garbage yardage with bad technique.
Yeah.
So the argument didn't come across that great. Yeah.
Well, I use my, superior intellect and technique knowledge
lay it on us
to read it. I was like, y'all are saying the same thing almost, right? Because both of y'all were right in weird ways. Like you said, he was using distance swimming, or middle distance swimming as the distance is what makes you better. Mm-hmm. And not that you have to actually be efficient to swim that long, which is what he meant. And then you were making and this is obviously not with the clarity that Elvis has provided now, but Elvis was making some great points where it was to swim fast, you can't mess up, right? David has this great quote that I always tell everybody, especially my one-on-ones. I say it all the time to sprinters, the faster you go, the more water you're hitting per second, the more you got to do right. And I remember when I figured out how to sprint, it's I hated it. I hated sprinting because you have to think about and be perfect on so much every half second that it's impossible when you first learn it. You have to pull things out. And even in my own content, I teach it incrementally. So that way when we get to the actual fast stuff, you're just learning one thing instead of 10 things that have to be pinpoint accuracy.
Yeah.
And so I could see both ways of what y'all were trying to say. But in my personal opinion, I do think, I guess all three of us are in agreement, it's easier to take a longer stroke, right? Which is what he was trying to say and what you just said now, and not longer distance per stroke, Ian Thorpe, stretch it out, but just being able to cut through the water efficiently and move that to swimming, not necessarily the distance you're training.
Yeah. Yeah. And, like you said, there's so much that can go wrong in sprinting. And that's what I hated about sprinting too. I love going fast through the water and feeling good. But when you're learning to sprint, whenever you're learning a new drill, and whenever I'm teaching kids a new drill, it's slow motion for weeks.
Oh my God.
Slow motion for weeks until I put speed on it. I would never.
I just got goosebumps. PTSD just now.
Because a lot of these kids and a lot of these coaches, they'll learn something and then they'll be like, all right, and then they'll try to throw it in a race, and I'm like, you're gonna fail.
No way.
you can't try to fly before you crawl. Like, what are you talking like? And I had
For
this.
the record, I walked before I learned how to crawl. For the record, that's also why I have like scars all over my face. I'm into a lot of shit, but
Yeah, I was at this camp one time, and there was a parent on the side filming me, and they got me saying this really cool quote, and they sent it to me. They're like, "Yo, we put this on the back of a T-shirt. It was so good."
oh,
And
nice. You got quote action. What was the quote?
yeah, I said, "It's better to go slower with perfect technique than to go fast with bad technique."
Yeah, perfect.
And every single time you will see that. And I put that in my race too. Like when I'm coming to, I talked about it when we did the straight arm section. I said I switched to straight arm at the end of my race because I want to hold perfect technique going into the wall. And that's really what, who is it, Coach Aaron Charla, when I trained with him, he told me the key is to establish the key in sprinting is to establish perfect technique and do whatever it takes to hold it. Said if your technique starts to falter, you're better off even if it's a 50 free. He said slow your stroke down and just think about each stroke and make them perfect. He said don't try to speed up to make up ground for getting tired. He said slow down and execute each stroke perfectly, and that stuck with me. So perfect technique trumps everything.
Yeah, and it's like when you really think about it, there's like hints about this all over swimming. Like I've seen like great sprint coaches talk about how they'll start off like just prone position, 3 strokes, hit top speed. They don't say you hit the top speed on all 3 strokes, right? And even some of the coolest things and facts that I've seen in swimming, and we'll talk about my PTSD in a second too, come from what you just said. Like, see, people don't pay attention to this. Cesar Cielo is the world record holder in the 50 freestyle.
I'm so glad you called that name because I have a story, but go on.
Oh, okay, there we go. Sprint freestyle is obviously regarded as the fastest tempo, with the next fastest being the 100 free. Sprint 50 free, we're like a 0.9 to like a 1, maybe 0.2 tempo, right? For a stroke cycle, going from at full extension, pull, recover, back to full extension. 100 free starts out at about 1.1 and then goes up until like 1.25-ish, kind of. Cesar Cielo is a world record holder at a 109, which is almost 100, the fastest 100 tempo. So your fastest swimmer of all time is doing the 50 with 100 freestyle tempo.
Uh-huh.
Right? And then the second, and this is probably the coolest race. You can find it on YouTube. It's a Christian Glokmiev. Sorry if I said it wrong. He ties for the 50 free crown at NCAA as a freshman, right? He flips 6th place. And if you're really, it's hard to notice for the untrained eye, but if you watch his stroke and like the last like 10 yards, you notice like a jump in his turnover. And he just he flips 6 and he blows by everybody, ties for first. So he spent 40 yards not at top speed, just making sure he stayed connected. And then once he got that confidence up, first. So it's like everything you're saying, when you watch the videos and you pay attention to the actual metrics, it's there. It's there. Yeah. Make sure and then my PTSD, like I remember hearing stories about how Cullen was never allowed to do like even a stroke of freestyle when he first got to David because he was swimming wrong. And then when I got to David told me I didn't know how to swim. And I've never done so much slow motion swimming in my life. And not even like on deck, watching like videos to those old like mind warping videos, you know what I'm talking about? The gear you put on your face.
Yeah.
The whatever they were called, and like having to like do the slow-mo motions like with the video. And I think maybe we did at least me did a fast full 50 freestyle maybe one time in my entire time there. But we spent so much time, you're not allowed to go fast. Like focus on what you're doing. So yeah, like from personal experience, like everything you're saying is on the money.
Exactly. I'll tell that story about Caesar real quick. When I was training with Aaron Charla, he would give us these drills, and he said this is what they did with Caesar. They tie us to like a power tower, and he said put on a snorkel, like lightweight, and he said you just swim out where you're pulling it a little bit, but it's not pulling you all the way back, but you're not pulling it all the way. So you just kind of hang mid. And he said you just swim slow motion, just holding that tight core, keeping a good technique with that slight bit of resistance, just keeping you in place. And it was just like, just go, just like 5 minutes at a time, just slow motion, good pressure on those strokes.
Yeah. And on what you just said, people don't know this yet. They will, though. And Dax Hill will be right once again. That what you just described there is the future of swimming. I guarantee it. It's probably going to take another 10 years, but I'm not going to go into details because I want to save it for myself. But what you just described is the future of swimming. Like the stuff that I combine with what you just said, there's no way you could do a 2-hour practice like that with like the extra stuff that I practiced and figured out. Like, and that immediately changes everything about your training.
Right.
You can't do doubles now, or if you do, you come in and you do a long swimming and your initial workout is over in an hour max.
Exactly.
So, yeah, what you just described, people don't know it yet. You heard it here first on the Night Swim podcast. No lifeguards are here. So all good ideas come from the gutter. You remember this. The future of swimming is what Elvis just said about swimming in place. Watch. I guarantee it because I've tried it. Trust me. I keep saying trust me because it seems unbelievable that it would come from 2 black guys just talking shit on the internet, despite how long the sport has been around. I guarantee you, y'all will find out that this is the future of swimming. I guarantee it.
That's how we do it, man.
Yeah.
Trailblazers.
Trailblazers, blazing trails.